Hello YouTube, Reddit Math here, and welcome back to the Reddit Estate. It's been a while, and I'm very much aware of that. There's been a number of reasons for it. A lot I don't really feel the need to go into on YouTube. Let's just say I don't think the videos that I would have been producing would have been a lot of fun, and I want these videos to be a lot of fun. So I'm hoping that we can get back into the having a lot of fun category. Now, we're in kind of a weird place because we are playing on New Game Plus, which became Stygian. So we have, a total death counter and a total week counter to go. Basically, we've got like a full party wipe would end our game at this point because of the required deaths to complete. So I don't know, man. I put our odds at like 50-50 that we make it through all of this. I've got like just enough people that theoretically, if we win all 4 of the next dungeons, then we can win. If we lose or have to retreat at all, that's basically going to be sounding our death knell. I don't know that I have what I consider to be the greatest party combinations available to me right now, but I think this is pretty strong. We've got a grouping here of legendary characters that we can send in. We've got some, plus 25% damage in the first position, some fairly decent plus damage on marked, and plus damage on melee skills, plus the sniper's mark there. So we've got, a big boss fight coming at the end of this expedition. I think that'll be okay. I'm starting Barristan here in the 3rd position so that he can rampart at least once and, not displace Big B. But we'll see how things go. I'm also, of course, a bit rusty in my Darkest Dungeon play, so I'm hoping that I don't make any critical errors that, lead to an early death. All right, let's go ahead and pop into our provisioning screen. Of course, if we abandon it, then terrible things happen, is basically what it's saying. We've got the giant souped up shambler at the end, so I'm thinking anti-venom and bandages are both warranted here. I'm probably going to take a full 24 food just to use as additional healing. We shouldn't need any shovels at all, and there's like 1 spot that we can use a key. Let's take 2 just in case. Laudanum, that's new. Soothing tincture to inure one's mind against the horrors of the dark. Well, I did not know that there was laudanum in the game, or have any idea what laudanum actually does. But sure, let's take some laudanum. I guess we'll figure it out once we get there. Yeah, there's not really a lot of loot in this dungeon, so I'm not too worried there. That should be like a fully stocked course. Maybe overstocking. I've always taken too many provisions, but hey, it really does matter this time, right? All right, and let's see what the ancestor has to say about this.
Once again, the stars are right, and the manor sits at the very epicenter of cosmic unrest. Cultists rally to their twisted idols, and great gongs sound in anticipation of the coming sacrifices. Far below, life-laden shadows pulse to the unrelenting rhythm of a beating heart.
Beautiful. Now, beating hearts aside, okay. One of the reasons that I did, really want to get back into Darkest Dungeon, of course, the DLC.
Of the fallen flows ever downward along these titan spires.
Lovely.
The creature fattens itself on your failures.
The DLC, the Crimson Court, has released. I would be interested in playing it. Of course, I didn't want to just abandon this series, so I would like to see it make it to some sort of conclusion, even if that conclusion is, a terrible death. So I can't use this. I was hoping this had something to do with, stress relief from the description, but that doesn't appear to be the case. I was hoping that it was going to, cure stress or... Or maybe give us a stress resistance buff or something like that. But I can't actually use it. So I'm trying to keep maybe a close eye on opportunities to use laudanum, and we'll see what happens there. Alrighty. Ooh, interesting. There's now a uses remaining on transform. Is that going to be a... I'm curious, is that's going to be a dungeon-wide counter? Like, am I only going to have 2 uses during this entire dungeon? In which case, I'm probably going to want to save some stuff until...
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Until a final boss man style time. And with a stun there, we've basically got this in the bag. Nice. Actually, when there's not 2 opponents.
Annihilated.
Alright. That went pretty well. Okay, it's uses per battle, and it resets to 2, so no. I guess maybe there was an exploit that I was, like, unfamiliar with that involved, transforming, like, back and forth, and that would somehow, that would somehow allow him to, like, infinitely regain stress. I could see something like that having worked and maybe needing some sort of hard nerf. We're going to go ahead and try to keep our light levels as tippy-topped as we can. Alright, I do, of course, you know, at least vaguely remember these guys. Let's try to get an early stun on him if we can. And was actually thinking I might move him back and then use Slam to move him up to get into the first slot for that Brawler's Glove advantage, but we'll see. We'll see. I am, of course, inflicting some stress in constantly doing this. It may be worthwhile to do something about that before the end of the dungeon. But I certainly feel like...
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
I certainly feel like my calibration, you know, might be a little bit rusty as far as exactly when it's going to be appropriate to need certain types of stress healing, that sort of thing. Let's go ahead and try to do this. He can still transform, but he's now got, you know, manacles and beast bile that he can use. And if he transforms, he can leap forward and from there take advantage of the Brawler's Gloves. But for right now, at least, I don't feel like the full power of the Abomination is necessarily required. Okay. Wasted heal. Not a big deal. Let's go ahead and land a little damage over time. And then I'm probably going to just focus down this guy up front, see what happens there. Alrighty. Or I could stun you. You know what? Let's go with that. Or let's make that completely worthless. 173. Alright, fine. Straight damage it is then. I feel like the sniper's mark is maybe wasted. If I'm not going to hit him at least 3 times, I might as well just hit him instead of snipers marking him, right?
Well struck.
That's kind of the way I look at it here. He'll die in 2 more turns. You know what? Now that you guys have moved. Oh, of course. There is, however, you know, their ability to heal that I might want to consider. I guess it's not guaranteed that he dies in 2 turns. What I'd like to see is maybe like another bola to the front. Ooh, that is a lot of bleed. A lot of bleed. That's why we bring bandages down here, huh? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and bandage up then. You will die on the start of your next turn. You will not. Let's see if you can do something like this. Land that stun, just to prevent him from being able to heal.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
I kind of wanted those damage numbers to be reversed, truth be told. The hope was
their formation is broken.
To get them both down
the offensive
into damage over time would kill them category, but didn't quite pull it off.
Give them no quarter.
Oh well, things turned out okay, I'd say.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
All right, high road, low road. Let's turn left. Their left, not our left. And do we just have a straight shot into the next room? No, we do not. Okay. Now here is certainly where I think stress is going to start to matter. We've got 2 ascended witches to deal with. Also, that is a lot of damage he has taken. Okay, okay. Healing might be worthwhile. We do have very, very minimal amounts of HP we can heal. And they are just absolutely nailing the one character with stress. I could see a Baudelaire becoming our weak link kind of thing happening here. You know what? Try to just implement, man, as much stunning as we can. Of course, that didn't happen at all. And I feel like we're going to have to toss some bandages his way. So, I'm going to try for a stun, and then I can use finish him to really, like, set that off.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
And that basically saved me 1 round of bleed. Man, I've used a lot of bandages already. I think also a holy water might as well be worth it to go ahead and get the bleed resistance going right now. And then... not really the greatest results. That I'm okay with.
Weakened.
That I'm less okay with. Yeah, we're like seconds away from having a stress check. So then do this guy. Okay. Primarily what I was worried about is that she would go, not be stunned, and therefore I couldn't use finish him.
Eradicated.
Nice. Okay. Do we go for the bandage again? I think we go for the bandage again. Take advantage of our plus healing as long as it's there. And then that can't quite get a kill. Let's maybe try to avoid the stress check. This could be a lot worse than a pull. 93 and a dodge. I would also find myself camping like right away, which is a little scary. Nice.
And power.
And then I think we just try to get out the stuns, right? We try to get into some kind of position where we have got the advantage here. Okay, at least one of them. And if she doesn't go first, which of course she does. Oh, that's not good. Ooh, okay. 20, if we down to 14, might as well. That'll basically negate the one stack of bleed that's still there. Now, just just going to focus on killing these guys. Potentially we stun here, although she does have the stun resistance buff, taking her up to 113 right now. Ugh. Let's go with the guaranteed kill. Guaranteed as long as we hit anyway. And then... doesn't have anything buffing... that would probably break him. You know what? It's kind of a wasted turn, but I'll go ahead and just go with the straight HP. Transforming would have probably broke Baudelaire, although it didn't really matter. And now he's paranoid.
The walls close in. The shadows whisper of conspiracy.
That was probably mishandled. There's probably some way that I could have pulled that off, even in the late turns.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Now what I'm thinking is an early camp might be worth it. Do we think an early camp might be worth it? I'd really just be doing it for the stress. I'm not going to get him down to 0, though. No one else is really at risk. But how much is Baudelaire going to harm the rest of our party is the real question. Alright. Let's push forward through, like, at least one more fight to get a good idea of what it looks like to fight with a paranoid party member. If it's as bad as I think it's going to be, or if we're able to handle it. And at least we've gotten a couple of hallways without too much going on. Cultist priest friend gives us the finger. Ugh. So much bleed. Maybe I should have brought like 1,000,000 bandages. It's the only place that we have to deal with needing anti-venom in the final fight. Maybe I should have just taken some extra stacks of bandages. Okay, these guys are Eldritch and Beast, so he's not going to get that advantage from them. In which case, let's try for the early stun. Fail miserably. Ugh. Double ugh. Jeez. Alright, we can't just let her taking 12 damage stand. So I feel like we're probably going to get all the way through our bandages, like, real early, man. Real early. You know what? Let's grab the mark here. And hopefully let them rain down on us for a bit. And then everybody could use healing, but let's go here. Everybody could use healing, but she could use it the most, and of course she can't heal herself. Also, if she ends up on death's door, I feel like we maybe have made the decision about whether or not we need to start camping for us. Okay, we could stack more. Wouldn't be the worst idea. Also transform. Maybe wouldn't be the worst idea. Let's try to land a stun here. Pull it off. Thank our lucky stars. That's okay. We can still collect bounty from back here. Alright, he's dead. Good. Then we'll mark here. Focus on either
Exposed to a killing blow.
on either killing or at least stunning the guy up front.
Great is the weapon weapon that cuts on its own.
That death flash is going to be a bad thing, isn't it?
Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
Okay. I really
A hand
didn't want that to happen.
becoming unwound.
I was really hoping that our Arbalist could go first and maybe heal him up a little bit. Unfortunately, that did not happen. And instead we end up with the Death's Door debuff. Great. Just great. There's not really much she can do from here. Can't mark. Can't shoot. Does 4 to 8. Just heal. Healing 6. I mean, 4 to 8 damage is probably nothing that was going to matter otherwise. He's got his stun resist, so straight damage is probably our best bet. I guess the alternative option is maybe a Bola moves him, and that the move allows him to get hit by other things. Yeah, it's a little cuter than it is really worthwhile.
Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Well, I think we've seen just what having a paranoid character does to our stress levels. The answer is it does nothing good to our stress levels. So, I'll tell you what, I think we're going to go ahead and camp here.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
We'll end up feasting to just get back as much of our HP and stress as we possibly can. And then with 9. Get a scouting chance. That might not be a terrible idea. But I kind of think like a weapons practice and a tactics might be a better shot for surviving. Keep your sorcery to yourself. Oh man, come on now. The idea there being, if we can kill things faster, then perhaps we don't worry so much about the stress that's coming into us.
The light, the promise of safety.
I wonder if laudanum inure one's mind against the horrors of the dark. I wonder if it somehow plays with the light mechanic in some way. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. I think I want you stunned. And then I think I want you dead.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Because him critting for 30 bleed is something I can't stand. Okay. That's gonna get annoying. That's gonna get annoying fast. Now, I'm thinking about transforming. I think I am going to be transforming. And then we will immediately move up so we can get our 25% buff in the front position. And then we'll mark him. Oh, of course he's guarded. So we'll mark him. That's a little bit of a waste, granted. And then repeatedly rake. And of course I wanted to be able to collect bounty, but it's not going to matter now. This could kill. It doesn't, but it could have. Good time for Ebola, maybe? Not like Ebola, but Ebola. Can actually use his guarding to get a kill there. Wow. They also see him as the most important, huh?
Masterfully executed.
The thing down. Alright. Taking a lot of bleed, but with only one bandage left, I don't feel like there's a lot I want to do about that at the moment. And rage. And with 26, probably not going to get a kill. We might land a stun, though.
A singular strike.
We don't. We might have, but we didn't. If I don't, you're going to end up on death's door. I know I said I wasn't going to, but I feel like death's door is the thing we're trying to avoid, you know, most of all.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Maybe just like a little snack and a little light. Also down to just 3 torches left. Now I think... how many more hallways do we have to go? Unfortunately, my memory of the final dungeon is not complete. I did seem to recall there was at least like one backtracking thing that needed to take place. I actually think it might be this room. But there was one chest with hidden goodies in it, but it was like out of the beaten path. Yeah, it's right there. It's not a chest though, just a bag. Of course, if this is purely optional, then you know, perhaps I should be avoiding it considering my current predicament. Sure, now you dodge the stress attacks. No. Okay. Well, not so much that time. Maybe I shouldn't taunt him for doing good things. Maybe, just maybe. Okay. What are we gonna want to do here? I feel like even marking him will fail, right? Like it'll go to there. So let's let our Arbalest just deal with the witch maybe on our own. And we'll otherwise let the Abomination and the Man-at-Arms kind of deal with what's going on up front. Ooh. That is probably going to cost us quite a bit, actually. To 23
Impressive.
Can get a kill. It does get a kill. I don't really care if you're healing the guy I haven't even bothered to hurt yet. Nice. Now, Fate's Pull. That could have been bad. She gets out of those rear positions. She gets a little bit useless.
Decimated.
But in those rear positions, man! The crit for 50. Beautiful. I think these guys would do an excellent job against the boss. It's just a question of whether or not they can arrive at the boss fight in any kind of shape to fight him.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Nice. Alright, some decent gold. The Ancestor's Lantern. The party surprise actually is kind of nice. But probably not worth trading out for anything else. Yeah. I'd say we're probably going to stick with it. We'll stick with our current arrangement here. Alright, let's go with one more torch. It's not a torch. It's a torch. But, man. Stress levels are scaring me a bit. Not going to lie. Because we are like one very minor misstep away from all of our characters kind of tumbling over the edge. That fail cascade is super real. And once it starts, man, you know, it's just, oh, they're all crazy belligerent and
waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
And then your character with 150 stress is heart attacking. He's backstabbing his buddies, you know. Yeah, stuff like that basically is about to happen. My best play from back here. These have all got pretty decent stun resist. You're the only human. Let's try this. That's not the direction I wanted to shuffle you. Alright, we're going to play some very similar tactics this time. Try to let the Arbalest deal with the Witch. Try to let our guys up front deal with everything else. So if I transform here, I totally do send our Man-at-Arms into a resolve check. He becomes hopeless.
There can be no hope in this hell. No hope at all.
Which is certainly not the greatest of outcomes, right? I still remember it was right when the game's launch happened, and therefore the final dungeon got added. I was watching a Twitch streamer play, and all 4 of their characters hit a resolve check, and 3 of them passed it.
Adversity can foster hope
and became,
resilience.
You know, vigorous and what have yous. And I was just like, oh my god, are you kidding me with this?
Decisive pummeling.
Where is this luck when I need it? Well, apparently, he's just gonna repeatedly hit Bigby in the back of the head. So, I mean, I feel like it would be foolish to not take the simple kill. I'd love to have hit it with like a bola or something to get a little bit more out of that, but right now things are looking a little too dicey to worry about that. So, not quite the crit for 50 this time, though, was it? This should be a pretty easy kill, and then if we can just act before her, this should also be a pretty easy kill.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Now, will me sort of purposely stressing out Barristan with a transformation from our abomination prove to be our undoing? I mean, it might. You're not wrong. That was a bold move, to be sure. But at the same time, Bigsby wasn't going to be doing much from this front position. Now, the elongated hallway, I think this might be our boss fight right here. So, purge evil and restore purity. Yeah, the laudanum saw no usage. I wonder if it only works in the dark or something like that. Part of me definitely wishes I would have brought way more bandages than I did, and obviously keys were not required. I couldn't remember if that that bag was just free for the taking, or if it was in fact a locked chest. One more fight. Okay. I mean, I think heart attacks are in our future. Sorry to say.
The will to fight falters.
It seems I can feed from it as it feeds from me. I was hoping for some big moves there. I mean, I basically got it, right? I ensured she died before she got to act, but I was hoping to maybe one-shot her. You know what? Oh, you're gonna refuse. You're gonna refuse healing, huh? Save it for those who need it. I mean, you're those who need it. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but you're those who need it. Ugh. Well, that at the point that doesn't stun, that becomes a misplay, certainly. Considering we lose out on our damage buff here. Man, I'm going in really hard on this stun and it's not happening. That is rough. Alright, well. We're gonna see our heart attacks coming now.
And now the true test. Hold fast or expire.
Oh, it's okay though. We can make it okay though. Oh, maybe. She could have very easily killed somebody there. I knew it. Go with them. Alright, I'm gonna try for the stun. Why? Because I need the healing to happen. I need... Oh! Are you kidding me? No more interference from you, huh?
Destroyed.
Okay.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
This is gonna be real rough. Real rough. Okay. So I'm assuming... Seeing tincture minds against the horrors of the dark. I don't know. There's some new mechanics I'm not completely aware of yet. I'm not sure what is going on there. What I do think I'm gonna do is go ahead and pop out holy water. Of course, you're not gonna accept it. Because I know that I've got some bleed and some blight to be worrying about here. And then we'll use as much of our food as is possible. And then throw caution to the wind. Alright, Mr. Shuffling Horror. Let's see what you've got. I certainly would not say no to Missandi, passing a stress check and becoming virtuous. Like, I think that would be maybe the greatest thing that could possibly happen. The odds of it are probably not super good. There's a huge stun resist on him, to a point that is probably just not even worth trying. 5 to 9, 5 to 9. Alright, let's try stunning him. And actually succeeded it. Oh man. Okay. Gotta get the sniper's mark out right away. And then hope we can weather the storm somehow. I think somehow is an operative word here, as I do not immediately know what that strategy looks like. Undulations. Ooh. Oh, great. Hardcore party shuffles, huh? Well, that's awesome. Especially as Big B ends up in the back, unable to do anything.
As life ebbs,
Oh, that's it.
terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
I really dislike how those mechanics interact with one another. Which I feel like I've felt that way for a long time, but the fact that Death's Door, heart attack kills you, all that can happen on a single attack, doesn't feel that it's behaving the way it's supposed to. The idea that you're able to get hit, get stressed, and then just die. Not even, you know, take a Death's Door check, but just die, all from that one hit. And, you know, granted, like, oh, well, your health's really low and your stress is really high. Maybe you should be doing something about that. I mean, I can see it coming, but I can't always do anything about it. And,
Ringing ears, blurred vision. The end approaches.
yeah. And surely we are about to die. Okay. She can do nothing from this position. I could flee, of course. Doing so would also cause a party member to die. Basically, at this point, we're asking ourselves whether or not an abomination can single-handedly win. That's really what's going on here. She can't even do anything from the third position. Pass, take stress. Yeah. All she's doing right now, really, is screwing with our Brawler's Glove's ability to give us that bonus.
The darkness holds much worse than mere trickery and boogeymen.
I was hoping to see, once the pitch black came, that Laudanum did something. It still doesn't, so I'm still at a loss there.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Of course, we don't have any ability to cure him. You know, we're hoping for Vigorous.
More blood soaks the soil, feeding the evil therein.
We're hoping for Vigorous to pull him off of Death's Door. I certainly can't complain about a lack of Death's Door checks. I've been making those fairly solidly here. And we've got our Rake basically up to the point where it's doing as much damage as a single target attack would.
More dust, more ashes,
Yeah,
more disappointment.
that seems about right.
Do
Yeah.
not ruminate on this fleeting failure. The campaign is long, and victory will come.
Unfortunately, our ancestor is incorrect there. The campaign is not long, and victory will not come. That puts us to the point of...
I remember days when the sun shone, and laughter could be heard from the tavern.
Of not being able to succeed. There is some... I don't have a level 6 Plague Doctor, really. There is some theoretical scenario where occasionally you can get characters back from the dead. Failure in the darkest dungeon is strengthened the resolve 2 XP on the next quest. That's something. There is theoretically like a town event that can raise people from the dead. We could go try to grind our way through standard quests in order to see that, but that's like a super long shot, right? And as we are right now, what happens here? So we're deaths 10 of 12. I don't know why this got lowered recently, or not even recently, but within the last 6 months. It used to be 13, it came down to 12. I don't know why, but what it does mean is that in the final dungeon, you have to lose 2 characters. They die in the fight, more or less being scripted. There's some real fancy, like, no, if you crit for 300 damage by perfectly buffing and rolling X, it's possible to skip a phase. But I'm being, I think, realistic here in saying that that's not going to happen. So what happens in the final fight, you lose 2 characters, and then in the final fight, you just lose the game. It does the check immediately. It's not like you have to get back to town before it says, oh, too many people have died. It just ends the middle of the fight, and that is that. So that's going to do it then for our Stygian playthrough. I've got to say, on a downer note, I became less invested in the Stygian playthrough once it became the Stygian playthrough, meaning that once they retooled things to allow you to just choose a difficulty at the start of the game, and one of those difficulties was now Stygian, and it was effectively hard mode, I was a lot less excited about it than I was when it was New Game Plus, and there was more of a motivator for me there than it just simply being like the hard difficulty you could start the game on had these restraints. Not you had to beat the game and come back through, and on the second cycle it would look like this. So I don't know. I hope that's not too much of a downer. It's over now, although it's been on hiatus for quite some time. I'm hoping to make this sort of my summer of DLCs and wrap up the DLC content for Dark Souls 3, as well as take on the Crimson Court in the Darkest Dungeon. Other than that, I think we're going to keep playing Grand Blue, probably scrap No Man's Sky. That is basically where I'm feeling it right now, is that maybe No Man's Sky's chance has passed. Every time I do anything for it, there's a lot of criticism there. Even if I enjoy the game as a way to sort of just vibe out for a few hours, maybe it's not the most thrilling thing to watch, and there's a lot of drama wrapped up in the release of the game that I don't enjoy revisiting every time I play it. So probably those 3 games for now, and I'll try to keep my eye on some other stuff, but baby steps. Our goals for right now are just going to be some more consistent recording, some more consistent uploading, and getting life back to a semblance of normalcy, both here and on YouTube. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to subscribe. There's lots more on the channel. You could leave a like or a comment if you have anything to say about this or any of my other videos, and I will catch you guys next time.